Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Got another recap for you guys. Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 5. And yeah, Cornelius definitely gave Camille the side eye in this episode. But before we jump into this, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button. And also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. So we got a lot of unpacking to do. There was 2 new singles that enter the group. Some pressure was put on some folks that hadn't been performing at their best. So let's talk about it. So we got 2 new people. First, there's Sydney, who's a 33-year-old entrepreneur that works in the nightlife industry, and she also knows Frank. Now, I mean, they're familiar with each other, but it did allow for an instant connection. She also has her eyes set on Cornelius for a hot minute and even has a nice moment with Dante. And then, or is that Dante? And then there's Sean, who's 44. He called himself a creator, but when you look him up, he's actually a writer and a journalist. And he kind of hoes in on Sydney at first, but did spend some time with Aisha. However, it came clear later on that Aisha doesn't want any more kids, so therefore it in that connection. Now, I know a couple of girls at the end said that he act like Tommy from Martin that don't have no job. Yeah, well, he's actually a journalist, so he's a writer. So I wanted to put that out there as well, you know, before everything starts flying and going left when it comes to some of our men in this episode. But let's talk about Camille, guys. Oh, my God. She definitely made sure and made it clear that Cornelius is hers. She wants him. She even claimed him as her boyfriend. I don't know if you guys caught that. Now, it also seems like she doesn't want him going through this whole process, and she wants him to pick her and her alone and be completely done with this process and this journey. However, you know, things didn't work out like she wanted. And honestly, you know, while Cornelius was trying to, you know, spin Camille as being possessive kind of in a good light, yeah, well, it's no longer easy to say that so much. She definitely presented a major red flag. And being that she is a lot more obvious about it, she's starting to get side-eyed not only from him, but even other people. But it definitely manifested itself, those red flags, when she started saying some really out of the left things, and some of the profanity that she used in regards to him not kind of locking himself down with her and kind of explore the options. Because the other thing is that he definitely has an interest in Courtney. So, I mean, that can't be denied. And I think that's why she's definitely trying to hone in on this, because she knows that Courtney is definitely competition for her, you know, and not meaning competition as she being better than the other, but just to know that, you know, Cornelius has his eyes on other connections in this process. So she needs to kind of reel it in a little bit, because it's definitely not an attractive trait to be. Now, I will give her props for coming back later on in the episode to apologize to him. But I can guarantee you, even though he said apology accepted, there's got to still be back in his mind that this could actually go left again if maybe he make an even solid connection with Courtney or anybody else that he might build a connection with. But did you guys see her faces? She definitely doesn't have poker faces when it comes to different things. Even Tommy had to ask her, girl, what is up with your face? So when something's going on in her head, you will definitely know. But yeah, Camille, you need to kind of see what's going on and, you know, fix this situation if you want to make a connection with somebody in this process. However, there is no one that has a bigger and brighter red flag than Mr. Corey. Now, as we've seen through these previous episodes, there's definitely an art to talking to multiple people. And a notable part of it is being upfront. Now, the process definitely doesn't allow for secrets. And when it comes time for elimination, anything you did or didn't do comes up and will affect the final decision. So Corey not being honest with Mumin and using the same game he is using on Mumin and Courtney, it definitely put him in the hot seat, which I think he probably lost any little bit of supporters that he did have up to this point, and those who just tolerated him just for the entertainment of it all. Yeah, and I mean, it was like, dude, you know that you were doing and saying the exact same things to both women. You know, it was one thing that he made a connection with Mumin, and then he turned around and put all these little treasure hunt cards around for Courtney. He admitted to it. Mumin put him on Front Street saying, hey, did you do this? And he never admitted to it. He was coming around with these rounds. Did you ever see me do it? Did you not see me do it? And I'm like, dude, stop playing games. You come on now. You know you did it. Just admitted to the girl that you built. And even Mumin tried to give him a way out by saying, just let me know if you're trying to make a connection with somebody else. And he still denied it. And then he invited the girl to meet his family, thinking that she was special. And then at deliberation, Courtney said he said the same thing to her. So no doubt by this point, yeah, it was time for him to go. I mean, it's one thing to be direct, but you telling the same stories to two different women and then want to make them feel special in the moment, thinking like, okay, no, it was just not a good look at all. It was time. I was wondering why he wasn't let go 2-3 episodes ago. But I guess they had to keep him on for entertainment piece. And he realized it. And he said, I know I'm about to be eliminated because this is about to go left. So he knew that his time was cut short. And yeah, it was time for him to go. And those women were not tolerating it. I don't think any woman would tolerate that. So peace out, Corey. Let's talk about our boy Tyrone. And oh my goodness, Tyrone is very direct. He's intentional and he knows what he wants. Tyrone decides to cut off another one, and that person this time is a Sabrina. Now, remember, like when Carrie got cut off, it comes off a bit abrupt and yet surprising. But unlike Carrie, Sabrina got options. Now, she definitely isn't pleased how Tyrone ended things. And yeah, it was a little bit better than what, he did with Kiri. And there's got to be some admiration for him going after who he wants. But the problem is the person that he really wants, which is Shiloh, doesn't feel the same. She still wants to go to this process, and essentially he, ends up leaving Tyrone in a place where he pretty much had to wait around for her. So, I just think that you have to be intentional in this process. You only get a short amount of time to make a connection before elimination. Now, even though he definitely was intentional about him and his connection with Shiloh saying she's not ready yet. And I just hope that it doesn't come at the expense of, and if she's not truly into him, then she's not truly into him. I mean, you can't force somebody to be with you, But I'm hoping that she is building connections with other people, instead of putting him off on the back burner at the time, because we saw what happened at the end of the episode. But putting him on the back burner at the time and say, well, let me sit you back here while I'm trying to figure out what else I got going on. Honestly, I really haven't seen any other connections that Shiloh, major connections that she really had. So I'm hoping that, she finds someone. On the flip side, you know, being that Tyrone didn't have that interest in Sabrina was definitely sold on him. And even though, yes, she had options, but Tyrone was her top pick. So I hope that he didn't cut himself off to somebody who could have been in there 100% for him too. So, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, and then see what happens in the next episode. But, you know, at the end of the episode, of course, he was eliminated from the process. So, I mean, unfortunately, even though they told him he wasn't ready to love, he actually was ready to love Shiloh, but Shiloh wasn't ready for him. So, you know, I wish him the best. Hopefully he'll find somebody. It seems like he is definitely functioning well with the PTSD that he has. And I know that's been a topic for conversation in social media, but I think that Tyrone is going to be just fine. He'll meet somebody that, you know, he can connect with and move forward with. But it is what it is. So we'll have to see what happens with Shiloh as we move forward. So we had our double eliminations tonight, which of course one was Tyrone, and finally, Mr. Corey is gone off the show. Predictions, we probably already know Camille might be the next one to get the boot. Will they be doing a double elimination? We'll have to see, and if so, I think it will be Tizia, I think I pronounced her name correctly. I mean, it doesn't seem like she's really making connection, and she think all of the men are just playing games. So it's definitely building some walls. I know she had a brief connection with one of the guys last night, but I don't think it was solid enough where it would have built upon something. So she's probably, if they do a double elimination, she might be in that bottom two. As for the guys after that, Phil, because he has been struggling trying to make a connection, and then they already having, I guess, not so many good thoughts about the new guy, because a lot of the women don't think he have a job because of how he came in describing himself as being a creative. So they don't see, you know, pretty much his value. But like I said earlier, it did seem like he's a writer or a journalist. So I guess you can be creative and you can make money from content creating. So, but, you know, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll have to see what happens next. I will say in this season, I don't see any real couples forming yet. At least in the previous season, we started to see some folks started to connect. I'm thinking we almost getting toward midway the season, and everybody is still just kind of playing around. And I think the only person that really have been intentional in this whole thing is Tyrone. I mean, he weeded out the people that he knew he didn't want. He saw Shiloh as his possible wife. He said that to someone, and I think Shiloh could be my wife. So, I mean, there was a couple people that have been intentional about who they want. Unfortunately, Camille is definitely being intentional about Cornelius. The way she's going about it is kind of freaking some folks out. But, you know, that's all that I've really seen is possibles. If you play spades, you know what I'm talking about. You'll have some possibles. That's all we got right now, if that. So we'll have to see what happens as the season progresses and if these people can find a connection and start locking some things in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.